we're going to be going over the different keyframes, showing what they do, and a little bit of layer control. So I'm going to leave this work file in Canvas for everybody. This was the old animation that we did. Now remember, to play your animation, hit the space bar. We have that done. So I'm going to hide this layer for now. I'm going to make a new solid, same size, and this one I'm going to make pink. And I'll hit OK. And I'm going to move this all the way up to the top. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so we have some space so I can show you what I'm going to be doing here. And my graph is still selected, so I'm turning it off to see my timeline more easily. Okay, I'm going to make 4 copies of this. And I'm going to grab the last one. I'm going to put it down here. By holding shift, I'm just copying it straight down. I'm going to select all of them. This is something we didn't cover in class. Align. You could also distribute layers. I'm going to distribute these layers vertically from the center. Now they're all evenly spread out. It saves myself some work. I'm going to select all of my layers by holding the shift key. Now, I showed you some of the shortcuts. They're in your notes as well that are also in Canvas. I'm going to hit the P key to get position. I have all the positions set up because I have them selected. So I'm going to just click my stopwatch, and they all have a starting keyframe. So I'm going to go to, I have to zoom out a little bit here so I can see my timeline better. I'm going to go make it 2 seconds. I'm going to add my second keyframe. And I'm just going to move this straight across. This is the best way to show you what the keyframe changes do. This is linear. It's a constant motion. We already went over it in class. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change this layer below. I'm going to right click on the keyframe, keyframe assistant, easy ease in. I'm easing into the last keyframe. So that's going to be the top square. See it selected? So watch the change in animation when I hit the spacebar. It's speeding ahead of the others, but it's going to gradually start to slow down near the end. So I'm going to pick this keyframe, so that's going to be this bottom square. I'm going to go keyframe assist, easy ease out. We're easing out of the first keyframe. See how now it's slower than the rest? This one's speeding into the last one. This one's slowing out of the first one. Already the animation is different just by changing our keyframe interpolation. Easy ease out of the first frame, it's pointing towards the frame it's easing out of. Easy ease in to the frame that's easing into. It's pointing to the frame it's easing into. The middle, we're all familiar. I select both of them. So I did that by just clicking and dragging outside of the keyframes. I'm going to right click while I'm on the keyframe. Keyframe assist, easy ease, as we've done before. This will be easing out of the first frame and easing into the last keyframe. Hit the spacebar to preview. And that's the middle one. They're all moving differently now. And this is choppy because I'm recording, but you can still see it. Now, that's linear. We're going to keep that linear. And the final one, I'm going to do toggle hold keyframe by right clicking on it. And toggle hold keyframe on the end. Toggle hold is an absolute. It's off and on. There's no moving through space. It's instant. So watch this one right here. Once it hits the playhead, it's just going to instantly appear on the other side of the screen. Like that. It might seem useless, but toggle hold keyframe is one of the most powerful uses of animation in modern motion graphics. You're going to be using it a lot in class and find it very useful. So that's it for the different types of keyframes. To duplicate the layer, I just selected it and hit Command D on a Macintosh. That duplicated it. And as I showed you in class, Command D will duplicate the layer. I'm going to also use I told you, if you want to remember one shortcut, the U key hides and shows all your keyframes. See how much space I have now to work? So I'm going to select this one. It's the one on the bottom. If I hit Command D, it duplicates it. It keeps all the same keyframes and information. So that's one thing we covered in class. Another thing we covered is Command Shift D. That splits the duplicate. So it ends here and it starts there. That has some uses that you'll find when you're working in projects. Other shortcuts and layer management we did was Option and then the square bracket next to the letter P on your keyboard. That sets your endpoint. The endpoint's where you want it to start, and if you choose where you want it to stop, you hold down Option and hit the square bracket next to the backslash key, so it's 2 keys away from the letter P. So that's how you change your endpoint and how you change your out point. Now say I want this bottom layer, say it's a movie, and we don't want to change the endpoint or the out point. And we want to start the 2-second mark. We would hit the square bracket key next to the letter P, but not Option. So it's just the square bracket moves it down in your timeline. If you want to move something manually by a few frames, make sure you have the black arrow selection tool, because watch this. If I go too close to the frame, I've got a double arrow. That's showing it's going to change your in and out point. That's not what we want, because now it's not showing the first keyframe. You're losing part of the animation. I'm hitting Command Z to undo that. So that will change the endpoint. We don't want that. The double arrow is for changing your in and out point. The black arrow moves your layer. So now you can offset your animation by a couple frames and have some interest. I'll show you some uses for that later on in the term.